Rising on the mountainside, leaves are blooming in the ash tree. Robin's looking for something sweet. Where I'm sitting beneath the eaves, not one drop will find me. A little seedling is breaking through, persistent as the thought of you. Looking out into a sea of green, thinking on the years and miles that lie between. It seems so long ago, but you're still on my mind, you know. I go walking through the trees, the water dances over stones. The April morning is clean and new, but a breeze has brought the thought of you. Looking out into a sea of green, thinking on the years and miles that lie between. It seems so long ago, but you're still on my mind, you know. I sat down by the riverside, fearing I could drink it dry and still not be satisfied, satisfied. The banks are full with all this rain, and if they'll overflow, I can't say. The crickets calling in the firelight, and a long and gentle sleep tonight. Looking out into a sea of green, thinking on the years and miles that lie between. It seems so long ago, but you're still on my mind. Yeah, you're still on my mind, you know. You know. Still on my mind, you know.
Let me tell you about my angel, the one you never see, my everyday companion, living deep inside of me. out of every mess. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Well, she leads me on my journey, she leads me to the goal. She's always on the money, never leaves me in the cold. And every time I listen, I wind up being truly blessed. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. I'm at the fork in the road, I gotta make a choice. So much going on, I don't heed her voice, so I'll make a wrong turn. I'm feeling lost and afraid, and I hear my angel calling, recalculate. Well, I gotta pay attention, 'cause it's powerful stuff. I gotta turn it on, and I gotta turn it up. 'Cause every time I do it, you know I'm guaranteed success. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Play it for me, Fuzz. You bad boy. Lost and lonely, I'm drifting in the dark. Will I ever find a harbor? I don't see it on the chart. With some saying no, but someone else is whispering yes, yes, yes. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, crystal clear and never muddy. She's my Watson, she's my Tano, never tardy, always pronto. She's my Sherpa, she's my guide, never runs and never hides. Truly awesome, she's the best, she's my personal GPS. My personal GPS. She's my personal GPS. Yes, she is. She's my personal GPS. Yes, yes.
The night is louder than it's been before. I hear. Good evening, friends.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Inside Live.
I'm Alice Howe.
And I'm Freebo.
And we're so happy to be with you for yet another week of
That's
music
right.
and
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, Alice, why don't you play a song and then we'll bring in our special guest. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Every night I've the strangest dream. All these ghosts are talking to me, laid down in my bed, and I can hardly sleep. These homeland blues have got a hold of me. Well, I went over to my cousin's house to see if we could figure it out. He said it's plain to see you got them homeland blues. What hope have I got if what you're saying is true? And I got them homeland blues. Don't you know I got them homeland blues? Said I got them homeland blues. Honey, The sooner I book my ticket, the sooner I'll come running back to you. I asked my mother, do you know what I mean? And she could hardly look up at me, had her eyes to her paper, and I knew she had them too. She had her eyes on her coffee, and I knew she had them too. Have you ever missed something that you never even had? You're down so low and you feel so bad. That's when you know you got them homeland blues. That's when you know that you got them homeland blues. And I got them homeland blues. Don't you know I got them homeland blues? Said I got them homeland blues. Try to tell you I got them homeland blues. The sooner I book my ticket, the sooner I'll come running back to you. I went outside and I couldn't get a cab. All distracted by the night we had, I sat down on the curb, nursing my homeland blues. I'm half out in the street and I'm nursing my homeland blues. Well, my American soul gets lonely sometimes. Take a walk and it clears my mind, and I hold you tight to shake my homeland blues. I hold on tight and I shake my homeland blues. And I got them homeland blues. Don't you know I got them homeland blues? Said I got them homeland blues. Try to tell you I got them homeland blues. The sooner I book my ticket, the sooner I'll come running back to you. If home is where I left it, the sooner I'll come running back to you.
Yeah, nice, Alice.
Thanks, Freebo. Nice solo.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, before you introduce our guest, I think our camera's a little bit blurry.
Blurry.
I
Oh,
thought that it was just my contact lenses, but
maybe a little bit of both.
let's see.
Oh,
There we go.
Is that better?
I was starting to wonder.
Oh, good.
And I also did not pull up the chat, so hold on a
Oh,
second.
dear.
We've got to see what you guys are saying.
Yeah. Sometimes life can be blurry, Alice, you know.
I know,
Happens
well-
every once in a while.
Luckily, we have the ability to put it in focus.
Well, that's true. In so many deep ways. Isn't that
That's
true?
So deep.
Yes. Oh.
Here we go. There.
The chat is waiting
The
for new
chat
messages.
is happening now. I think we may have missed the beginning there, but say hello to us again. If you already did, we can't see it, so you have to say hi again. Okay, I think we're ready. Freebo, where were we?
Well, we're about to introduce our special guest. Guests, really, but basically a fella that I've known for, I guess, a little over 30 years now, and I've known of for over 50 years, and that would be Brian Auger, the great Brian Auger.
Put your headphones on.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with Brian, Brian is one of the world's great B3 players, Hammond B3 organ players, and I mean, we'll find out more about his influence. I'm sure Richard Groove Holmes and Jimmy Smith and just some wonderful people. But Brian, you and I got to play in the Blues Busters back in '88 and '89, and I got to say it was a thrill to meet you and really an honor and a blessing to get to know you. Just what a wonderful, warm, sweet guy you are. In addition to being a genius keyboard player, how the heck you doing, buddy?
Well, after that, I mean, I'm doing really well.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Welcome to Inside Live.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And, I'm here with my son, Karma Auger on drums, and my grandson on bass, Joaquin. Joaquin Auger. So it's like 3 generations. It's amazing, man.
That's so great. Hey,
You might say Brian and the family unstoned.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody throw anything recently.
Not lately. That's good. That's good.
Hey, it's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for being with us.
And you too. And nice to meet you, by the way, Alex. You got
to meet you too.
Very pretty voice, and
thank you.
Yeah, great stuff.
It's an honor to meet you too. I can't wait to hear some music. Hey, Brandon, our cameraman, can we bring the rest of the band onto the screen and take me and Freebo out so they can say hi?
Yeah. We want to see.
There we go. They're coming on. There we go.
Oh, there they are. Hello.
Yeah,
Okay, now you gotta wave.
Yes. Hi, Karma.
Hi, Freebo.
Hi, Joaquin.
Hey, thank you guys for being here.
You're most welcome.
It's our pleasure.
Let's hear some music.
Yeah, you guys want to play some music?
Yeah, I was going to do something that goes back to one of the first albums I ever made, the Street Noise album. And this was a thing called Tropic of Capricorn. I was writing a suite, and I haven't got the other two, the Equator and the Tropic of Cancer done yet. So there you go. I'll play you the Tropic of Capricorn, and you can. Okay, then. Shall we
take it away?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, here we go then.
Oh, that sounded great.
Killer. Sounded so good, you guys.
Nice,
Good,
guys.
thank you.
Hey, Karma.
welcome.
Can we make
Excellent.
one tweak? We would love a little more overall volume. Is that something that's possible?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Sorry to make you do that. And I have one other technical question, Karma, just before we keep going. Did you click the original sound button by any chance in Zoom? Are you familiar with that button?
No, but let me check it out.
Okay.
It should say
'Cause
turn off
I
original
think it
sound,
might
which
be,
means original sound is on.
Sorry. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, that's no problem.
Bye.
Important.
I did
Yeah.
originally turn it off, but let's see.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Want it to sound
Let's see now.
perfect. Sounded great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Thank you,
groove.
thank you.
That was
Thanks
tight.
so much.
And the crowd's loving it too.
Well-
can you see the chat, Brian?
No, they.
Yeah,
No?
can I see the what?
No.
The chat?
Yeah.
No, you can't
No,
see
not
the
really,
chat.
no.
Well, we can just tell you that they're loving you.
Oh, well,
That's
that's
all you
good.
need to know.
Yeah,
That's,
people,
that's right.
people will
Yeah,
remember.
I want to tell you that.
Wait, 1 second.
Yeah.
Really quick, turn off original sound. Would that be in the sound preferences?
Oh no, it would be right
Yeah,
there.
if
Right on your screen.
Oh, hold on.
do you see it in the top of your screen on the top left, little button that says turn off original sound? If you
No.
don't see those words, then go really quickly to your audio settings, and
Yeah.
then at the very bottom, you should see music and professional audio, show in meeting option to turn on original sound.
Right, I'll get you a taxi cab.
See a checkbox for that.
No. Hold on.
If you don't see that, then scroll to the bottom. You might have an older version of Zoom. Click on advanced.
That's what it is.
Now under
Show,
original
yeah.
sound, check that.
Yep, got it.
And then you should keep the next one on. So there should be 3 buttons. Make it disable, auto. Do you see those 3 buttons?
I do. I see turn on original sound, which means it must be off, right?
Yep.
And high fidelity music mode, yes, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you have a slightly newer version of Zoom. Okay, so yeah, high fidelity music mode. Turn on stereo mode. Turn on echo cancellation.
Hang with us, folks.
All
Don't
good.
go anywhere.
All right. We'll get this together.
Yep, all good.
All right.
Brandon's amazing. Yay,
we
Brandon!
should be good now. Sorry about that. I
Right.
didn't hear any suppression earlier, but I just noticed it now, so you should be good to go then. So up in the
good.
top left corner of your screen where it says turn, it might say turn on original sound. You have to click it so it says off. That one button will reset every time, every new meeting you come to.
Cool.
Turn on original sound.
It's amazing,
So it's
isn't it?
asking me to
So
turn
it
it
says,
off.
yeah, so click that so it says turn off.
Okay, so it says turn off.
Perfect. Now you should
You
be
wanted
good.
to say off, yeah.
That doesn't make sense, but that's the case, unfortunately.
Okay, got it.
All
Yay!
Right, there we are. Hey.
Hey, thanks for hanging with us, folks. And Todd
Yeah.
from Toronto, just know that we do take requests. Don't know if you have requests for us or for Brian. We'll do requests. I can't speak for Brian.
If you do
Well,
have a
I
request-
mean, if
Yeah.
it's something that we know,
Hopefully so.
yeah, I mean, we could maybe do a request. I had a request a couple of nights back. Somebody asked for a tune. I didn't know it actually. It was called "How Can I Miss You If You Won't Go Away."
Oh yes.
You've played it several times, I'm sure.
I could have written it.
Hey, I'd like to ask you, Brian, what has this year been like for you? This quarantine year, you've been making music with your son and your grandson. What have you been up to?
Well, I mean, I've been doing that, and also it's the first time since I became a professional musician in 1964 when I actually had spare time in the year,
Right.
So I've been writing some things and playing on other people's work and generally making a complete fool of myself.
Hey,
Which is
that
pretty
makes
easy.
3 of us.
Yes. So it's been rather refreshing in a way,
Yeah.
So
I feel the same way. It's nice to actually get some time in one place for a change.
yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah. Hey,
And,
Freebo, why don't you play a song for us while we're... Should we get back into the music mode? Or did you
Yeah,
have a
all right.
question?
I'll tell you what, Brian, this is a song. For those of you who don't know, I was in a band called the Blues Busters. We got together-
yes, I remember them.
You do, of course. We got together in the mid '80s with Paul Barrere on guitar,
Yeah.
Paul Barrere from Little Feat, and T. Lavitz on keyboards, and we did that for a couple of years, and then the rest of the guys from Little Feat liked what we were doing so much they decided to get Little Feat back together. So Paul left the band, and then T was called back to rejoin the Dregs because I guess they saw what was happening. So Catfish and myself thought, we want to keep us going. So I don't know how it happened. We somehow recruited you, Brian, and that became a different version of the Blues Busters, and that's where we really got to hang out.
Right.
And I'm not sure exactly. I guess maybe.
I think somebody invited me to. There was something for a good cause, and it was held out in Los Angeles, but out right in the West. And I went to this weird place, the Penguin Room or some strange thing like that, and there were a bunch of very strange people, and I thought, man, I feel really at home here. And that was the start of it. That's where I met, I think, and where the Blues Busters started, and it went on from there. So, and serve everybody right. That's what I say. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
here's a song. I'm going to play a song that I had not written then, but if I had, it would definitely be a song.
Well,
that,
you couldn't afford the pencils.
I couldn't. I
didn't pay you enough for that?
I was in the pens by then. But I would have played this, and you would have played great on it. And too bad we can't play together at some point. But I'm going to have Alice play bass on this one.
How cool!
Because I actually showed her how to do it.
I'm not as good as Joaquin, but I'm okay.
Oh, well, that's a great compliment.
Joaquin, as you
To the
know, it's
Joaquin.
one note at a time. That's what it's all about.
One note at a time. That's
One
right.
note at a time.
Yeah.
So,
What song is this, Freebo? I hope I know it.
well, there's only a couple that you do know on bass, so it's got to be one of several. So, how about if not now, when?
All right. Sounds
I
good.
know we played this recently, but I wanted Brian to hear this. It's a fun kind of a tune. It's got a little message to it, and we're going to give you a little surprise in the middle, something that you do know. Here we go. Ready, folks? Marcella, Detroit. Good to see you. Let's
Hey,
see.
Marcy.
All right, ready?
All right.
And Chuck Cohen, yes, T. Lavitz was the original bass player, original keyboard player. And then, like I said, he went back to the Dregs, and we were lucky enough to get somebody just as good, BRIAN AUGER. Here we go. If not now, when? Ready?
I'm ready.
When I was a young boy, I had these dreams. Time didn't matter, or so it seemed. Now I'm still a dreamer. Was back then, but time keeps screaming. If not now, when? Hundreds of heartaches and broken down plans. So many what ifs, and what if I can't? My fear held me captive, caged in a pen. It's time to break free, boy. If not now, when? If not now, when? If not me, who? I can't pretend. Oh no, 'cause I know it's true. I make this vow, I swear it, amen. My time is now. If not now, when? Doubting and blaming.
not now, when?
If not now, when? If not me, who? I can't pretend. Oh no, 'cause I know it's true. I make this vow, I swear it.
Amen.
My time is now. If not now, when? Okay, Alice.
Well, I pulled out of Pittsburgh, we're rolling down that eastern seaboard. Got my diesel wound up and she's running like never before. There's a speed zone ahead, alright, but I don't see a cop in sight. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
You can relate, Brian, right?
Well,
Let me throw you off, Alice. Ready? 1,
we try that again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, it seems like a month since I kissed my baby bye-bye. I could have a lot of lovers, but I don't need no other guy. I could find one to hold me tight, but I could never make believe it's alright. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Got my 10 forward gears and my sweet Georgia overdrive.
Georgia.
Taking little white pills and my eyes are open wide. I just passed a Jimmy and White. I've been a passing everything in sight. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight. Alan Freebo.
Well, my rig's a little low, but that don't mean she's slow.
No way.
I got a flame from a stack and my smoke's blowing black and cold. Oh, well, my whole town's coming in sight. If you think I'm happy, you're right. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
Back to the tune.
It's time to take this leap of faith without a net. Hello to destiny and goodbye regret. Sing with me, folks. If not now, when? If not now, when? If not me, who? If not me, who? I can't pretend. I can't pretend, 'cause I know it's true. 'Cause I know it's true. I make this vow. I make this vow. I swear amen. I swear amen. My time is now. Time is now.
Not now, when?
If not now, when? I make this vow. I swear amen. My time is now. If not now, when? Say it again. If not now, when? One more time. If not now, when?
Well, there you go.
Hey, I just want to mention, folks, if you are watching on Facebook, we'd love if you would share the stream. That helps more people find it, so we'd appreciate that. And if you are in a position to send us a tip for tonight's show, we greatly appreciate
I
that.
always appreciate that.
Brandon is putting that info in the chat, and I'll just put it up on the screen for a moment here. You can send it to PayPal, Venmo, you can mail us a check, and I've also got a site, a part of my website where you can enter a credit card, so just go to alicehowe.com/support if you want to enter a credit card.
You are so together.
I am
Oh my
trying,
God.
okay?
Wow.
It's taken me 21 episodes, but now I have it together.
If not now, when? You know.
So thank you all so much for tuning in every week. It's so nice to see many of your familiar names and faces. So, all right.
Should we bring Brian and the boys back?
Let's bring the boys back.
Hello.
Hey!
Hello!
Hello. That was great, you guys.
Oh,
Well, thank
Yeah.
Thanks.
you.
Yeah.
Could use a little B3,
I
Brian.
know, man.
I know. I mean, unfortunately, it went past so quickly I couldn't get to it.
We'll play it slower next time. How's that?
Right. That would be good. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so.
Well,
You
Brian,
got-
tell me something.
Yeah.
When did you first, and I don't think I ever asked you this, but, you know, obviously you've been playing keyboard a long time. You said you started playing professionally in '64, but was piano your first instrument? Did you ever play anything else? Were you raised to be a musician, or like me, were you raised to be something professional and just kind of...
Well, no, not really, man.
What's the story?
Well, the story is that I was born in '39, went through the Blitz in London, and in just before my 5th birthday, the house was blown to pieces around us, actually. And my dad used to have a player piano that you put the rolls of paper in, you know, like at the state fair, and it pedal the pedals. It was done by air, and I spent most of my time kind of hanging onto the underneath of the keyboard and pedaling away like some demented cyclist, you know. And fortunately, my dad had collected all these piano rolls. You know, we had all the operas and, you know, things like Moonlight Sonata and God knows what. So I mean, but the thing that started me off was my favourite tune was the overture to William Tell. Ba-da-lum, 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 dun, dun.
Or
You
the
know,
Lone Ranger?
That's right. Well, I hadn't seen the Lone Ranger because we didn't have any television because there wasn't any at the time. So anyway, when I looked at the keyboard one day, I realised those notes are the same as here, but they're higher up, you know. And so I thought, but if this is playing da da dum da da dum da dum 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 down here, and I went and played the G higher up, maybe I could play along with this. And eureka, I could. So the first thing I learned was to copy the William Tell overture, and then it just kind of went on from there. My eldest brother was about, we came from a family of 6. My eldest brother was about 14 years older than me, and then 2 sisters, and then, thank goodness, a hiatus.
Are you the baby? Are you the youngest?
No, I'm not. Then I had a younger sister of 2 years and a younger brother, and that was it, basically. So what I got was kind of classical music and songs from the shows by my dad and mum, who used to love to listen to those things. Then my eldest brother had a collection of American jazz. So, you know, Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, all these amazing players from the 40s, you know, and I was just blown away by that. That took my attention. I wanted to play like that, you know,
Yeah.
but I couldn't at the time. Anyway, so that's where it really all started. And then I was away from the family for about 2.5 years because I was evacuated away out of the range of the bombs. The bombers would come by every night. And so fortunately for me, I had a very nice family that I was billeted with, and they had a piano, for goodness sake.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
How lucky.
So I went there and I played the only thing I could. Just to get together. And so it started there, and I was messing with the piano and stuff. When I went back to London, I met some friends at school that played different instruments, and so I fell into bands. Also, because I could hear something on the radio, like the pop songs, and just play them. I was invited you know, there were always these coach tours going down to the seaside, and the guys would hang out in the pub, and they'd you know, they'd say, "Come on, Brian, play some tunes," you know, and then they get totally drunk and pass the hat round, and of course they were like, "My God, I'm rich." And so it went on like that, you know. And
Yes.
this is how it started, and I finally found my way into jazz groups in London, and
Well, how did you get from piano to organ? How did that happen?
well, my record store in Shepherd's Bush Market, they used to have speakers outside, and they would play music, you know. And I'm walking past these one day, and I heard this sound, and I what the hell is that? And I rushed into the shop, and the guy, because I pestered them all the time for stuff they didn't have, because I was listening to AFN, and the guy had the cover to Jimmy Smith's Back at the Chicken Shack.
Ah.
I said, "Wrap that up." And I took it home, and you know, he always had great sidemen as well. And so I began to listen to the organ and go, "Wow, that is an amazing, powerful instrument," you know. And then I eventually went to a music store and asked them if they'd got a Hammond organ. And they actually had. It was the wrong. It was an L100, the small one, the ones that they play in the funeral parlors.
Oh.
And somebody brought me a record over from New York, because a lot of the musicians used to play on the boats, on the you know, the liners, go to New York. They'd run around all the record stores, or the musicians would, and bring home the treasure trove, and we would all get together and have a listen to all this. This is throughout the you know, what we call the invasion, the British invasion. And
Right.
the Stones would get together, and the Beatles, and you know, with their mates, and they'd call whoever had just got off the boat and say, "What you got? What you got?" You know. So this is it: blues, Zydeco, stuff that we never heard in England. You know, it was
Yeah.
amazing. And so basically, you know, I was asked to come and play with some of the rock bands and some of the R&B bands, and I thought that was great fun.
Did you play? So somebody asked, did you play something with the Yardbirds?
Yeah,
at
there
one
was a
point?
question about the song "For Your Love" in 1960.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I got a call one afternoon, and it was Paul Samwell Smith, I think, and he said, "What you doing, then, Brian?" I said, "Well, I'm not doing anything actually right now, but look, can you come up and play on a track?" I said, "Well, yeah, sure." So I got on the tube and went up to Oxford Circus, and above Oxford Circus is where the BBC is, and all they said was, "There's a little thing across the road, little studio opposite the BBC." So I went there, and there was the Yardbirds, and I think this was the last thing that Eric Clapton did with the Yardbirds, you know. And they said, "Well, right, let's play this thing." So they played me the tune, and I said, "Okay, fine. What do you want?" They said, "Well, we want an intro, you know, a kind of rhythmic intro, and then you know, you can rock out on whatever, you know." So okay, and I looked around and I said, "Wait a minute, where's the organ?" I said, "Oh, they don't have an organ here." I said, "You're kidding, right?"
What?
And I said, "Well, what about, you know, there's no piano either here." And they said, no, it must have been, I don't know whether it was a dubbing studio or whatever. So they said, "We've only got this." This was a
Was
shape.
it a Farfisa?
No, it wasn't. It was a shape in the corner with a tarpaulin over it. So we whipped the tarpaulin off. It was a 2-tier harpsichord.
Wow.
And I said, you got me, man. This is really cool. Thinking, said, no, we're serious. That's all we got. Can you do that? Can you do kind of a rolling intro and, a rhythmic comp behind everything and make it go as much as you can? I said, well, I suppose so. I mean, let me just run my hands over this because it's a very different feel to a piano.
Wow. That's like
So anyway.
downright Baroque or something.
Yeah, absolutely, and I was Baroque at the time, and so I said, whatever you want to do is all right. and so basically, we cut this track in about 2 hours, and went home. And as I was going down to the tube, I was thinking to myself, those guys are completely crazy. Who on earth is going to buy a pop record with harpsichord on it?
Right.
And the damn thing went to #1.
Oh my
Wow.
god. That's so cool.
Wow, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's a great story.
Hey, I tell you, I got more questions to ask you and more that the people want to know. But why don't you guys play another tune? Then we'll ask
Yeah.
you some more.
What a
How's
good
that?
idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to play you something by one of my favorite jazz guys. The great Wes Montgomery wrote this tune, and when I heard it, that's a magic tune. I gotta do an arrangement of that and play it. So let me play it for you now. It's called "Bumpin' on Sunset." Bumpin' on Sunset. Are you ready, guys?
Oh, smooth. Smooth.
Oh, that was smooth. That was wonderful, Brian. Never heard
Oh,
that.
thank you, man.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Just,
The great Wes Montgomery wrote that, and it's one of those magic tunes. I did get a letter from his wife when he passed on, saying that she thought that was the best cover that people had done of it. So I was really honoured. So there we are.
Oh, that's
great.
wonderful. Wow. You know, and it sounds really good. The balance is really nice. And,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's
nice
sounding
job,
beautiful.
Karma.
It's so cool that you guys get to have this 3-generation band. I mean, how did you all begin playing together? Was it a lifelong thing, or?
No, not really. I think it was when Joaquin went to I don't know the grades here, but it was before
Sixth grade.
Sixth
when I
grade.
started
sixth
playing
grade, yeah.
upright bass.
And he went to a great school actually. It was Mark Twain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave everybody an elective. You could either study opera or dance or sing or whatever you wanted. And Waco came home, said, "No, I'm going to play the double bass." Well, what? Anyway,
That's
yeah.
great. No, I'm loving that, and I love watching you, Brian. I mean, obviously you're an incredible player. I just love watching you stand up and sit down. I love how you stand up to get the top, then you sit down again. It's like you get a good workout too. I like that.
I certainly do. Yeah,
That's how Brian gets his exercise.
that's the one. And
just
Walker
sounds-
plays now he's in high school. He plays in the Samo High, Santa Monica University band. Is it?
Oh, that's great.
The high school band. It's phenomenal. They have an orchestra. It's absolutely phenomenal. And
No,
So-
they sound great, Brian. They really do. Let me ask you just one or two more questions, if I may. Somebody mentioned that they were at what they thought was your first American gig at the Fillmore East, opening for Steppenwolf. Is that true?
that was one of the first. We did one before that, which was up in Boston at the Boston Tea Party. And then we came into town.
Before your
and,
time.
That's my hometown, Brian.
Oh, there you go. Best cup of tea in America.
Right, right.
Yeah. So anyway, I still have a mental picture of playing on the stage at the Fillmore East, and I just thought, well, this is unreal to me, you know. I mean, because we all dreamed of particularly the jazz guy, all dreamed of coming to America to play.
Yeah.
And to stand on the stage and get an ovation like we got. In fact, we got 2 encores, and the only other person who got 2 encores there was Jimi Hendrix,
Wow.
an old acquaintance of mine.
I said, did you ever get to play with Jimmy?
Yeah. Well, when he came to London, we were the first band he came and sat in with.
Wow.
And he,
Wow.
Oh my God. I just
Yeah,
got
and
a
he says-
chill.
I said, well, he said, do you mind if could I sit in with your band? And I said, well, sure.
Oh my God.
Were you familiar with who he was at the time?
No, I had no idea, man. Nobody
Oh
did.
my God! Wow.
Nobody did, you know.
Wow.
So I said, so what do you want to play then, Jimmy? And he said, could you play this? Look, I'll show you this chord sequence, which he did. He said, could you play over that? I said, yeah, that looks really cool. Sounds great. That was, let me see. Let me see now. It was Hey Joe.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Except that he didn't sing at the time anyway, you know, and Chaz Chandler, who was one of the managers of his, you know, said to me, I've got to talk to him, Brian, you know, he's got to sing. He's got to sing, you know. And we had a number one, me and Julie Driscoll, we had a number one in France.
We were going to ask you about Julie also. There were some
Yeah.
questions coming in about her, and we'd love
Sure.
to hear a little
Sure.
bit about that too. Yeah.
First Jimmy, then Julie.
Right. We'll go through the J's.
Right then. Okay, so Jimmy used to find out wherever we were playing after that, and find his way to come and sit in with us, you know. And the amazing thing was that from the first night, there was Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck and, you know, all the kind of British, you know, heavy guitar players, and they were pretty amazing at the time. But you could still tell the traces of where they'd come from, which were American blues players, you know, B.B. King, Freddie King, you know, all that, you know. And but with Jimmy, it was something completely different, and I couldn't trace it, you know. And then he played this amazing stuff, and then he starts to kind of put the guitar behind his back and play over there, you know. And that were kind of like, what the? And then he grabbed it, and it looked like he was playing with his teeth, but I could see him fingering the board with his. Anyway, people went absolutely like crazy. So, and it was always a laugh, and he would come round and, you know, and sit in at different places, the Bag of Nails, and there was a place called the Revolution, but it was a round building. The sound was absolutely horrible, and we used to call it the Revulsion. Playing at the Revulsion tonight, are you?
Perfect.
Anyway,
Wow.
and so it went on like that, and he it was amazing. We invited him to open for us because we had a #1 in France with Julie, and a year later, we opened for him. So it was like, you know, it was one of those ongoing things.
Yeah.
Well, that's a thrill. I mean, just some of the people you mentioned that you were not only around in that time, but you were rubbing shoulders and playing with and respected by as those you respected. I mean, what an amazing time.
And how old were you at this time?
How old was I?
You're
Old
in your
enough,
20s, I'm guessing.
old enough to know better. No, yeah, I must have been in my late 20s, I think. Yeah, it serves me
So-
right. Yeah.
So a quick question. So your first band that you came to the States with the Oblivion Express, and how did the whole thing with Julie Driscoll happen? And somebody else said, is Julie Driscoll, is she still alive and is she still singing?
Well, first of all, no, Julie came first. I had this band called the Trinity.
Oh, that was before
there was only 3 of us, and I didn't want to call it, you know, the trio, or I'm trying to think of another thing. Trinity just means, you know, a get together of 3 or whatever. So, so I, you know, I just got that band together. I had a guitar player. I had Julie. I had her sing several times because I'd been asked to do sessions for her, you know, and so we got on pretty well, and I thought Julie was amazing, actually. Anyway, so then I got a call from Chaz Chandler. Chaz Chandler was the bass player for the Animals, but he was also one of the guys that brought Jimmy to London. The other one was Mike Jeffrey, who I thought was the worst crook in the music business. And so there was no way that I was going to ever do anything with him. But
That's saying a lot, Brian. The worst crook in the music business.
oh, yeah. So anyway,
Tall order.
yeah, so Chaz says, you know, look, we brought this amazing guitar player over. I said, well, you know, so what? And he said, well, we want him to front your band. I said, well, that's very nice, but I've already, you know, I have the band together for about 2 months now, and I have a guitar player, and Julie Driscoll fronts my band. Well, are you suggesting that I should just fire these people? And I haven't even heard your guy, you know, or what's his name? Didn't mean anything at the time. And
Uh-oh.
Oops.
so I said, look, at the end of the week, where we could sit in and everybody who was anyone on the scene came. So it was like a showcase in a way. I said, bring him down. People can look at him and hear him and whatever. I said, right, okay. And that's how he turned up originally at the Cromwellian and sat in with us. And that was, one of those ones. I had never heard anything quite like, the guitar played like that. And neither had anybody else, because apparently Eric Clapton went home afterwards to went, well, I think it's back to the drawing board, or it's Clappers, yeah. We all had our different names for everybody,
What was your name?
Orge.
Yeah. I've been watching The Crown. I've been trying to practice my accent, but
Right, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was what started it all up. And I knew him until I heard that he passed away in London, and that was such a great waste of an amazing talent.
Oh, really sad. That was that was sad.
But I'm glad I knew him, because when I first met him, he was such a sweet guy. But then he got very, very famous very quickly, and I think he got into all sorts of nasty drugs, and I remember we were in a recording studio in New York, and he drew me aside and said, "Here, come outside a minute, Bri," and he said, "Can you stay?" I mean, when I looked at him, the tone of his skin was grey. It was unbelievable. And he said, "Can you stay and make an album with me?" So I said, "Well, how long does it take you to make an album? Because we're used to like 2 afternoons or something, 3 afternoons, and that was it." And he said, "Oh, about could you be off for 3 months?" I said, no way. I said, I've got gigs that are already in the book, and if I did that, I'd probably get sued, and disappear somewhere. And he said, "Oh well, come and see me tomorrow, and I'll show you my studio, Electric Ladyland." And so it kind of went on like that, And then I heard that he was in really bad shape at one point. And when I was in the studio, he pulled out some silver paper, opened it up, and it was obviously brown heroin. And he said, "Oh," and he took a snort of this, and then he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Bri, here." And this is the thing I'll never forget. Yeah. I said, "Jimmy, you gotta quit that stuff, man, because it'll kill you in the end." Wow. And he said, "You know what, Brian?" He says, "I need a lot more people around me like you."
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's sad.
What an amazing player, man!
Wow.
Well, what great stories too,
so
Brian.
Great to hear.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, Alice doesn't have nearly as many stories as you have. Maybe someday when she's your
I'm going to be talking about you
but,
guys.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, "I heard that you did a live streaming show with the great BRIAN AUGER." And
oh dear.
Amazing story about Jimi Hendrix.
No, well, the truth is, Brian, actually, at this point in her life, and Alice just turned 30, just had a wonderful birthday party on stream.
Oh, fantastic.
Her stories, if I may, her stories are in her songs.
It's true.
Right. Yeah.
Expresses them
Yeah.
really well.
That's true, Freebo. Thank you. Should I
Well,
play
that's-
one of those?
I thought that would
a
be
lovely
really
segue
perfectly.
for
It would be definitely something special.
All right. Here's another one for you guys.
I thought that was pretty professional.
That was great.
Yeah.
Nicely
Wasn't
done.
planned. It just kind of happened.
I'd like to do a new song.
Oh, good.
And I want to thank everybody who came to my birthday party on Friday last week that Freebo just mentioned. It was so nice to see so many of you that watch this show every week, and you made me feel really loved and really special. So thank you. It was a great weekend and a great show. And while I'm playing this song, I just want to make sure you guys know we are doing our Cordial Cables giveaway this week.
And I've got my
as we
Cordial
have
shirt
done
on.
every week.
For you, Mike. There we go. And
Yep.
everybody else out there.
So once again, thanks to the amazing folks at Cordial Cables, we are giving away one premium instrument or mic cable. All of the cables that we're using here tonight for streaming are Cordial cables. They sound amazing because they have no resistance, almost no resistance. They're made out of pure copper, 99.9% pure copper, and they don't add any unpleasant background noise.
And Brian, you should know that as our special guest, you get one for free.
We're going to
from
give
Cordial,
you one too.
and
They're
a
going to give you
T-shirt,
one.
whatever size you'd like, as long as it's not extra small.
Yes, Vincent, you are banned from the contest because
Yes.
you read my mind and it's getting creepy. He reads my mind. So I picked a number between 1 and 100. And if you guys want to just put a number guess into the chat on Facebook or YouTube, we will
Brandon
go
will
through them. Brandon will
check
catch.
it out.
He knows the number, and we'll announce the winner at the end of this song. So we got a few minutes. This is the Jeopardy music. I wanted to mention something else, but now I can't remember what it is. Oh, I want to give a shout out to our dear friend, Lori Reamer, who is helping us so much backstage tonight.
Thank you,
Lori,
Lori.
with her company Music Magique Promotions. Check her out on Facebook. Follow Music Magique Promotions. And I know that she helps Brian a lot in his publicity, and she's helped us at shows. Lori, I don't know what I would have done without you at the McCabe's concert last spring. You're amazing. So thank you so much for your help.
Or Monday night with that tribe music and get together.
Oh my God. Oof, she knows
Thank
all the
you
parts.
for that. She sure does.
Yeah, we're looking forward to another a release from the tribe of Jesse Colin Young's famous song "Get Together." We just recorded our background parts for that. It's going to be amazing. All right, here's a new tune. Day after Christmas, I'm headed down south on a plane. All alone in my seat, and I'm watching the cold morning rain. Hazel said, "Come to the island to settle your heart." She said, "Peace will not come in a day, but you may as well start." After all, there's one thing I know, that you got to be strong to let go, let go. Living in fear, I was out of my mind, 'cause I'd gather up my resolution and lose it each time. And night after night he is asking me, what can I say? Yeah, it kills me, it's breaking my heart, but there's no other way. After all, there's one thing I know, that you got to be strong to let go, let go. Don't be afraid, it's never too late. I got to be brave. was time to move on. And she told me, with all due respect, you are already gone. So we walked on the beach and we sent out a prayer to be free. To the palms and the waves and the foam and the sand and the sea. After all, there's one thing I know, that you got to be strong. Thanks, everybody.
Lovely.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
You always get a lot of good songs out of a breakup, don't you?
Well, I
You
mean,
guys-
the hard times seem to produce all sorts of stuff, you know, that
They do.
is pretty much, you know, it's kind of scary in a way, because you start thinking, well, if I'm happy, what do I write about that?
That is the fear.
How about don't worry, be happy?
I feel like every time I write something, I think, uh-oh, that was the last time. That's it. I'm never going to come up with anything else.
Well, yeah, of course.
And it always comes around again. So,
Freebo.
yeah, what about, yeah.
Well,
so Freebo,
Let's
what's
see.
next?
I played a happy song. Maybe I'll play a not so happy song.
Right.
What do you
Right.
got for us?
This is something I would not have done with the Blues Busters, but well, you know, you live in Venice, right?
I certainly do. That's why my socks are always wringing wet.
Oh dear. Well, you've got some homeless people there, right?
Certainly. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Many homeless people in L.A. and it's really it's a difficult situation, and it's a sad situation. And
Yeah.
you know, having one foot in the folk world, Brian, I thought that I would take that tradition and write about that particular social issue. So
Right,
I
man.
wrote the song about homelessness from the point of view of a homeless person, and I thought I would. I originally didn't write it as a duet. I wrote it just as one person singing it, a couple different characters in the song. But when Alice and I started working together, I thought I would turn it into a duet, and I realized that there's no reason why you couldn't have several different characters in this. Obviously, homelessness is not gender specific.
Yeah.
So I wrote this song called "When There's No Place Like Home." I used to be your neighbor. I had my job and I had my pride. But they shipped them both to China, and it ripped a hole inside.
They took my house last summer. Now I'm hungry, cold, and scared. And I'm wondering, does anybody care? When there's no place like home, and you're out on your own, you feel abandoned there's no place like home.
I used to be a hero, the strong, the proud, the few. When duty called, I stood up tall for the red, white, and blue.
But no hero's welcome waited when his damaged soul returned. Uncle Sam don't give a damn, that's what I learned. When there's no place like home, and you're out on your own, you feel abandoned and alone. When there's no place like home, please don't look right past me. A simple smile could help me make it through. I could be you. If home is where the heart is, then where's the heart supposed to go? When your living room's a cardboard box and your address is Skid Row. If a man's home is his castle and the place where he is king, what happens when he loses everything? When there's no place like home, and you're out on your own, you feel abandoned and alone. When there's no place like home. When there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Beautiful.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, guys.
Nice one, nice one.
Not exactly a happy song,
No.
Truth.
But-
It's honest.
but they
though.
don't all have to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I think it made me remember a thing I wrote in 92, I think it was, or something like that, called "Somebody Help Us." It's like, and the lyrics go: "There's an eagle flying, children crying, save the world from dying, help us. There's a politician in the old tradition selling superstition to us. You've got to find what you feel if you want to know what is real."
And who did that, Brian?
He did.
Was it?
I did actually. Yeah,
Did
it's
that?
on the Second Wind album, I think.
And did you sing it? Or did Julie sing it?
I did. I sang it.
Wow.
Oh no,
don't-
Alex Lidgerwood sang it.
Because I don't think I've ever heard you sing.
Well,
you sing?
no wonder you're still looking good. No, go ahead, Alice.
Oh, I was going to ask you. I heard a little birdie told me that you are actually working on a book. Is that true?
Yes, yeah.
And what is the plan for that book?
The plan for it, well, I suppose, is at some point to get it
To write it?
Get it out.
and then after I get to write the rest of it. Yeah.
And it's about your life. It's a memoir. I'm
Well,
guessing?
yes, it is. It goes through the early parts and how I got to play piano and stuff, and then it goes on through what I wanted to write about was the way the British invasion came about, you know, with all these guys and everything. That was an amazing time. I don't think there'll ever be a time like that.
Yeah, I bet a lot of folks that are watching would love to read that book.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Yeah. And
So
what
folks I just want to say folks can find all of Brian's CDs, including his latest, which is a 3 CD box set called Introspection, that is available on your website, brianauger.com. And I'm guessing that's where folks can find out about your book when it comes out also.
yeah, they certainly could.
And Brian, I want to know how you're going to put, you've got such a wonderful infectious laugh.
I know.
Is there
It's
any
so
way you
true.
can put that laugh into the writing somehow?
Well, it's
other than ha ha.
I'm writing it myself because I want it to come from that slant, because it was such incredible fun, particularly because everyone knew everyone in London. All the musicians knew everybody. We all played. I was one lucky enough I could go to a jazz club like Ronnie Scott's and play a set and then run across the road to the Flamingo and be in the middle of absolute mayhem and dancing and you know, and it was kind of like that. You know, it was
What a
great.
time.
Yeah.
Well, I hope when you do the book, you can do a books on tape, because just you narrating.
No, you
the
should
book would be
narrate it.
really
I-
That's such a
incredible.
good idea.
I
Then you can throw the laugh
certainly can.
Yeah.
Good. Oh my gosh.
And we should take our hats off to the roadies that looked after us or whatever, you know. And I'll give you one quick story if I can do it quickly for you.
Please.
Absolutely.
My friend John Lord and his band were up in Copenhagen, and they just finished a tour in Germany, and they gave their roadies some money, and it was like from up north, you see, and not exactly the brightest star in the sky, and anyway, so they said, okay, we be here by Friday because we've got to play on Friday night. Right, okay. So it's getting to Friday afternoon and nobody knows where this guy is with all the gear, you know, the truck. Finally, he turns up. His foot is swathed in like bandages, you know, and he's out of breath. They said, "Where have you been, for God's sake?" And he said, "Oh, it's been terrible." He said, I came across the customs, you know, in Germany, and I broke down in the no man's land.
Oh, no.
So I went back and said to the Germans, "Could you get me a truck to bring me to a garage? I am broken down." I said, "Oh no, so you have left Germany. We cannot do anything for you. You have to go to Denmark now and ask them to send something." What? So he said, I walked to Denmark and they wouldn't let him in either, you know. And so he went backwards and forwards, and then finally they let him in. And on the borders, there used to be always a kind of pine built, I don't know, doss house, I suppose. You know, where the truck drivers would take a night's sleep. Anyway, he said, "I got myself a room in this place." And I called London and they said, "Oh, the part's going to be like 3 days. We have to send it over." So he said, so they said, "Well, did you go out?" He said, No. The weather was terrible." He said, "I sat in my room." And he said there was a telephone, but all it did was connect to the kitchen downstairs. So I said I would call them and say, "What's happening? You know, let's have something to eat." And a waiter would come up the stairs with a menu, and he said, no matter what I pointed to, they always brought me 2 fried eggs and chips. So I've been living on 2 fried eggs and chips
Oh,
for
God.
3 days now, you know. So he said, so this is how brilliant this guy is. He says, after the 3rd day, I realized that the floor was made of wood. Oh, eureka. He said, so I got my knife out because there was no television or radio or anything. And I was like sitting on the bed thinking, and I was throwing the knife into the floor, you know, just to pass the time. And he says, my attention, such as it was, must have wandered He said, suddenly I felt this terrible pain in my
Oh, no.
in my foot. And he
Oh,
looked out,
no.
and he'd thrown the knife into his foot.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
yeah, so he said, "Oh dear." He said, I grabbed a towel and, I dragged myself to the telephone and I said, help. This is an emergency. Help, somebody get up here right away, So anyway, he hears a pounding on the stairs in about a minute and the door opens and there is a waiter with another plate of egg and chips. You can't write this stuff or think it up, No. So anyway, he actually managed to make it to the gig in Copenhagen, and then when he explained it to John and the boys, they just fell about. It was ridiculous. However,
Well, I tell you what, we're nearing. That's a great story to
I
end
wanted
with,
to, I
but
wanted
we
to
got
tell
a
the
couple more
folks
things.
what the
Business?
plan is.
Okay.
Because there's a couple things they need to know
Yeah.
about the Zoom
And after we do
situation.
that, we want one more song
We want
from
one
you.
more song from you
we want to
before
let
we
people
take
know
a little
about
intermission.
Right.
after show Zoom.
So here's the plan, everybody. We're going to hear one more song from Brian and band, and then we're going to take a 5-minute intermission. And don't go anywhere. You can go get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, but come back.
Bio break.
Because we're going to be moving into the after party portion of the show. And what's going to happen is Brandon's going to put the meeting ID and the password to actually join our Zoom call. It's going to be in the chat of both Facebook and YouTube, and you can open up Zoom and join us backstage. So there's already about 15 people with us backstage, and hopefully you'll get a chance to actually ask Brian a question, maybe ask us a question, and we'll get to clap. We'll get to hear you clap. So this is our new thing on Inside Live. We're doing an after party every week. So right after, towards the end of Brian's song, we're going to put that meeting info in the chat, and then you can just jump over to Zoom. The show will continue broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube, so there's limited seating in the Zoom. So if you don't make it in, don't worry, you can keep watching. But that's the plan. And I also want to say that our winner of the cable is Jim Cowan. Jim Cowan has won the cable from Cordial.
Right.
So my number was 53 and he picked 52. So Jim, go write us a message and I'll get in touch with you directly, okay? I am done.
right then.
And Jim Cowan, thank you for turning us on to, Albert Lee I already knew. We're going to have him on the show, and of course you know Albert as well. Right, Brian? Maybe sometime
I certainly did,
we
and he
can
may have been there on the night that we all met Jimi Hendrix as well.
Oh, my
Well,
goodness.
Albert is living in L.A. and you're in L.A. and we're in L.A. and maybe at some point when this COVID thing calms down a little bit, we might have to all get together on a Wednesday night
Right.
and
I would
have a
love
show.
that.
I think that would be incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Right, guys. Well, listen. I hope you had a great time. I did. So, when you say thanks to Freebo and Alice,
It's been so fun.
Oh, thank you guys. You sound great. What? Thank you. So are you guys. What a great family band you have. Sounds wonderful. Karma, I remember when you first started playing with Brian, and man, you've really gotten your act together, man. You sound great. Really,
Sounds
really
awesome.
great. And Joaquin, just keep doing it, man. Remember,
sounds
bass,
excellent.
one note at a time.
yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Nothing more.
Right.
All right.
So you ready to
So
Yeah.
Anything
give
else?
us one more tune, y'all, and then we'll take a little 5-minute break.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Are you ready, Waco?
I am indeed.
Right.
Great.
Love it, you guys. Hey, we'll see you all back here in a few minutes, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
There you go, guys.
See you
Nice
guys
job.
in a minute.
Nice play.
Yeah. See you on the chat.
All right, everybody. See you on
on
in
Zoom.
the Zoom. And Brandon is putting the Zoom info in the chat now, and we will see you all very soon. So keep an eye out for that meeting ID and password, and we'll see you on Zoom. Bye for now. Every night I have the strangest dream. All these ghosts are talking to me. Lay down in my bed and I can hardly sleep. These homeland blues have got a hold of me. Well, I went over to my cousin's house to see if we couldn't figure it out. He said it's plain to see you got them homeland blues. What hope have I got if what you're saying is true? And I got them homeland blues. Don't you know I got them homeland blues? Said I got them homeland blues. Honey, pull over, I got them homeland blues. The sooner I book my ticket, the sooner I'll come running back to you. Well, I asked my mother, do you know what I mean? And she could hardly look up at me. Eyes to her paper and I knew she had them too. Eyes on her coffee and I knew she had them too. Have you ever missed something that you never even had? You're down so low and you feel so bad. That's when you know you got them homeland blues. That's when you know that you got them homeland blues. And I got them homeland blues. Try to tell you I got them homeland blues. Said I got them homeland blues. Honey, pull over, I got them homeland blues. The sooner I book my ticket, the sooner I'll come running back to you. Distracted from the night we had, sat down on the curb, nursing my homeland blues. Down on the curb and I'm nursing my homeland blues. My American soul gets lonely sometimes. I take a walk and it clears my mind, and I hold you tight to shake my homeland blues. Hold on tight just to shake my homeland blues. Then I got them homeland blues. Don't you know I got them homeland blues? Said I got them homeland blues. Try to tell you I got them homeland blues. Is where I left it, the sooner I'll come running back to you.
a time everything was so fine, cozy, just my baby and me. I was so well fed, I had my breakfast in bed, I was happy as a man can be. Then my buddy called up, had the cutest little pup, I couldn't help but take him in. Ah, little did I know her affection would go to my new little four-legged friend.
Hello, everyone. We are
Hey.
back. Hope you had a good break.
Back on Zoom. When do we get to see them, Alice?
As soon as Brandon magically brings
Oh,
them
there's
back.
somebody. I see somebody on there.
Here they are. Hi, everybody.
Eileen.
Yay.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Jason.
Look at this.
Oh,
Hey,
great.
everybody.
Hey, Storm. Nice to have you again. Yay, you guys. So good to see you.
And Alan Messer. My goodness. Kathy Sampson. Is that Kathy from Philadelphia?
Hey, Brian. We've got some some happy people joining us here, and it's so nice to see you again.
And it's lovely to see you guys. You know, a quick turnaround.
And
That's-
maybe
It is.
You mentioned Philadelphia. We used to play at a place called the Tin Angel.
Yeah, I played there.
I don't know whether it's still there, but you know.
I think it's not. It was down near Front Street. And
That's right.
You had to go up a bunch of stairs. I can't imagine getting an organ up there.
I used to be missing when the organ was being moved.
Did you guys meet for the first time, you two, with the Blues Busters, or was there did you go back before then?
I don't think I think I met you through the Blues Busters.
Yeah, I think you
I don't
did,
think we
actually,
met
yeah.
Before that.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I think it was the time with the Blues Busters, man, that we
And did you all did you tour the world together? Isn't that in that iteration of the band?
We did.
Where did
we
you
certainly
go?
did.
We played a lot of places. Matter of fact, that's where I met my ex-wife at the
Oh my goodness.
in D.C. What's the name of the place in D.C.? Can't think of it, but anyway, yeah.
No,
we did,
the
we
one-
did
the
a lot
one
of
thing-
stuff together.
The one thing that I did remember from that time was there was one place called the Triple Door or something like that somewhere. It was
That was in Seattle.
the filthiest band room that I've ever been in.
Don't you love that?
What's new?
it was unbelievable.
Some
You know,
of
I
them
mean,
are just so scary.
I mean, Brian, when you think about it, everybody thinks that dressing rooms, the whole backstage thing is so luxurious and so special.
well, that's what I was
Until you
thinking.
do it, yeah,
You
go
You
ahead.
just try not to touch anything.
I was looking on, yeah, exactly. I was looking at this place and going, yes, this must be all part of the glamour of it all, you know.
Yes, that's when you know you've made it. A deli tray and a nasty green room.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking maybe how we should do this is maybe we should have a couple people, if you'd like, a couple people ask Brian.
Yeah.
Question, just one question apiece, if you don't mind. We don't have that much time.
Yeah.
And maybe raise your hand and
I'm-
we'll pick on
Yeah,
you. We
who's
can
got
see
a question? Who's here in the chat?
Yeah.
I'm looking at all
you.
of
Don't
you.
all volunteer at once. now.
Somebody's got it.
We
Oh,
got
I see
John Paul Schwartz.
John Paul. John Paul and his cute dog. All right, you're gonna have to unmute
Oh, you're gonna have to
yourself.
unmute yourself.
Oh, there you are.
There we go.
He's one of Brian's big fans.
Oh, all right.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Oh,
welcome.
I
Thanks
tell you
for
what, I know.
coming.
I'm obviously attracting a very strange audience these days.
Little flea bitten. Little flea bitten. So, no,
Yeah.
everything. No, I just wanted to know some great moment you had with the Blues Breakers or with the playing in that era. I do a blues radio show every Monday night, so I'm
Oh,
gonna
where
have
are
to
you?
put your music on KRTS in Marfa.
Right.
Uh-huh. Well,
Well-
no, this was not the Blues Breakers. This was the Blues
mean,
Busters.
The Blues Busters,
Blues
yeah.
Busters, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Cool.
My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, well, we just had some great plays, man, and I was, I'm not really a blues player, but I mean, I can play blues, it's at the basis of jazz anyway,
It's
and all sorts of other stuff as well. But no, we just had a great laugh and enjoyed the and we played some tunes from.
Well, we played the one you just played, Freedom Jazz Dance. Is that what it's called? Freedom.
Right, and then there was the stuff that we played from Little Feat that I really enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
That was a great band.
Which
Yeah.
songs of theirs did you guys play?
What's that?
Which Little Feat songs did you play?
Which ones did we play with you? We probably played Dixie Chicken. It's hard to remember.
Oh yeah, Dixie Chicken.
We did Dixie
You know,
Chicken.
dancing on the Dixie Highway. Something about shoes.
Sailing Shoes?
Sailing shoes.
Yeah.
I
Sailing
love that
shoes.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
I
certainly
love
wasn't.
that song.
It wasn't these shoes are made for walking. That's for
No.
sure.
No. It wasn't that. No.
Actually, John Paul, the Blues Busters made 2 records. Before Brian was in the band, the iteration that had Paul Barrere from Little Feat and T.
Yeah.
Lewis, the Dixie Drakes, and
Right.
In fact, the only song that I had ever written at the time, a song called "Stone Crazy." Remember that, Brian?
Vaguely.
It was a pretty vague song, anyway. But
No, it was because
there
it's
it
all
is.
right.
Oh my gosh!
Ah,
And
Look at this.
record.
that's the one. I think I have
cracker.
that. I have that on vinyl. Yeah.
It's
Somewhere.
unopened, Freebo. It's still.
It's unopened. Oh dear.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess Brian isn't on this.
No,
on this
Brian's not
picture.
on that one.
But there's-
We never got to do a record with Brian. I wish we had.
No, it's a shame actually. You know, but we did do something in Catfish's front parlor. They had this Jangle Box piano, and I don't know what he recorded it on. It was maybe a little Philips, you know, but they're called Black Olive Blues. And we kind of were jamming away, you know. And then when he played it back, I went, oh my God. You know, it was cool. And he said,
Wow.
can I use that? I said, of course you can, you know, whatever. I think I must have it on tape,
Wow.
of all things, you know.
That's
I had to be careful because look at this.
What's that? Did somebody
English
bring you a?
A cup of English tea. Oh,
Nice. How nice.
yeah,
Anybody-
very
anybody
good
else?
cup. Yeah.
Does anybody else have a
Anybody have a
question,
question?
for Brian or for one of us?
Don Brewster has a question.
Yeah.
Hey, Don. Hey.
Don.
Hey,
Nice
hi
to-
there, Brian.
Yeah, how are you?
Very
how are
good.
you?
I was going to ask you about your experience with Steam Packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about that. It was interesting. Sounds like an interesting band. Long John Baldry and also Julie Driscoll, Rod Stewart,
Yeah.
and yourself.
Yeah. Well, basically, I had just bought an organ and I was doing some dates around, and I did a date in Manchester, a place called the Twisted Wheel, and there was an all-nighter there, and who should stride in while we were playing on the all-nighter but Long John Baldry. And he said to me, this was Saturday night, you know, so everything was ravey. He said, Brian, can you come up to the office, my office on Monday? And I said, well, yeah, I hope I'm going to get enough sleep. But anyway, yes, I can. So I went up to his office, and there was his manager there, and also his agent. And they said, look, the hoochie coochie men that were backing John, he said, they're all out of control, and we need somebody who can put a band together, you know, and we'd like you to run it. So, well, okay, you know. So I said, well, who's in the band? And John said, well, I've got this young guy called Rod Stewart. And I said, oh yeah, Rod sat in with me. Rod sat in with my band and a few times, and so I said, but what is this, like the Sam and Dave review? And and John said, "Well, no, I don't know. I mean, what do you mean?" And I said, "Well, I mean, two male singers. It's like." I said, "I tell you what, I've been working with this lady called Julie Driscoll, and she's a hell of a singer. And what about adding her to the lineup?" And they said, "Well, it's a lot of people." I said, "Yeah, I know, but you see, we could do it like this. I could go on and play, a raging Jimmy Smith tune and whip the audience into a frenzy. And then and then Julie would come on and she would sing whatever she liked. She was crazy about Nina Simone and Aretha Franklin, and and so I said, Julie could come on. I can sing back up for Julie. And then Rod comes on after that, and Rod plays a little bit of Chicago blues and kind of pop stuff, and does impersonations of different people, and that's more kind of like our R&B, Tamil and Motown crossover at the time. And then after that, John comes on, and John can do gospel. We all sing back up for him, blues, whatever, And how about that? They said, "Whoa, that's a good idea. There's nothing like that out there." And I said, "Well, no, there you go." So they eventually thought it all over and said, "Yes, we're going to do that," And so the steam packet didn't have a name, but I must have seen I probably a Hollywood film with the gamblers and everything on the steamboats going up and down the Mississippi, and a steam packet was one of those ships, and I think they just carried stuff. I have no idea. Anyway, it became the steam packet, and that was it. That ran for about nearly 2 years, and unfortunately, Rod had a manager, John had a manager, me and Julie had a manager, and the managers argued for 2 years.
Oh no!
Over whose label, a record should come out, and of course, in the end, it didn't.
Oh, boy.
And I decided that I was gonna, bail, and I'd got an idea of meshing this the kind of jazz things with the rock and roll rhythms and things, and so that's what I had, and I with Julie Driscoll as well. When Jimi Hendrix, his people asked me after I stepped out from the steam packet, but that was the steam packet,
Cool.
Hey,
Great question, Don. And
thanks, Don.
for sharing.
Hey, I wanted to bring in my friend Fred Migliori, who has a radio show that I've been a part of, and it's a great thing, FM Odyssey. And Fred is definitely a musicologist. I thought, Fred, you might
oh dear.
Have you probably know all of Brian's stuff. I thought maybe you might want to ask him something.
Probably would, yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, Brian, you and I spoke by telephone back in 1993 about your career.
I say, yeah, I got to send you the bill, man, because you forgot to actually shut off the message.
One of the fascinating times that I enjoyed in your career was the Oblivion Express, in particular, Closer to It and the Straight Ahead album.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was nice to hear Bumpin' on Sunset before from that album, Straight Ahead.
Exactly, yeah.
How did that chapter start with those folks in your music career?
Well, basically, what happened was, Julie and I had a couple of number ones, and I did well record wise, and then I moved to RCA, I think it was, but. They always want to, if you've got a hit record, they always want to keep bashing away at that. And I was like trying to open the way to this, what I was calling the new music, this new kind of jazz, funk-based jazz. And anyway, so basically, I thought to myself, well, I don't know. You know, I'm new on the label. If I'm going to argue with the business affairs people, then you know, this may be the quickest way to oblivion as far as my as far as my career is concerned. So I called it that, you know, and fortunately we managed to survive somehow or other, and we got to the closer to it. Well, I did an album called Second Wind, and unfortunately, two of the people in the band had to leave for different reasons, and so I was like, well, I'd better put something together, because it was coming up for Christmas, you know, 1972, and I said, I've got to get something for the kids, and you know, I mean, so I called up our people in Germany, and they booked a tour for us, and I had some auditions, and I managed to get the bass player I wanted, and I found a drummer who was in Italy. That was Robbie McIntosh. And Robbie McIntosh actually came to London and joined me. And then eventually there were some people trying to put together another band like this. And they snared Robbie away, because they were all Scotsmen. So, and that was like the average white band.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So basically it started off like that. And I went, well, what am I going to do now? You know, and I held some more auditions, and along came Godfrey McLean, who was from Guyana, and he said, Brian, I got my friend, he's a great conga player, man. You got to hear him. Yeah. And I said, I always thought of conga players, the only ones I'd ever seen, stood there in front of the band and went, do-dum pop, do-dum pop, do-dum pop. And I thought that was it. And Lennox Langton came, and when he started to play congas, man, my God, I've got to have these guys. So I took them into the studio on a, I said, I want to do, what was it? Anyway, it was an Marvin Gaye number, Inner City Blues. And I recorded that and recorded something else and one of my tunes, and all of a sudden the album just came together in two afternoons. And that was closer to it. And I sent it up.
It's quick. You record quickly, Brian. These two afternoon records. I'm just very impressed.
It's always been like that. It wasn't because I had to be quick because we had no money.
Oh, yeah.
Well. Money was like, anyway. So basically, that was it, and I sent it over to RCA, and they and I managed to get a tour in the States, and when I sent the record over to RCA, they turned around and they said to me, "What is this?" I said, "What do you mean? What kind of music is this? What do you think you're doing?" I said, "Well, I'm coming over to to do a tour, and I said, I wonder whether somebody could pick us up at the airport because I've got congas and drums and whatever," and they wouldn't do it.
Wow.
So that was basically that. And so we're about halfway across into, we roll into Cleveland after about a week, and there's all these, unknown to us, a guy in there who worked for the promotion company, had got, must have been doing some kind of business with the local, FM station, because about every 15 minutes a cut appeared from closer to it, and the thing took off, and it went on the jazz, R&B, and rock charts simultaneously.
Wow.
And then,
great.
yeah, and then guy turned up from RCA and in this club and knocked on the door and said, "Hey, I'm Frank Mancini. I'm head of promotion for RCA." I said, "Frank, what the hell are you doing in a dive like this? You never sell any records out of here." And he said, "Oh, hold on. The president wants to talk to you on the way back." And we'll pay for your expenses. Come into New York and have dinner with us. So
That's
that was how it started. And they asked me for another album, and the next album was Straight Ahead.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Someone was saying in the chat that they loved the album Straight Ahead. Vincent was saying that.
Yeah, hey, Fred, just back to you just for a second. Are you still doing your FM Odyssey show? I see you're in the studio there.
He looks very
been in that.
official.
Oh,
where
it's
he
the
is.
Yeah.
cool, it's the coolest. Are you still doing it?
Yes, I will be celebrating my 30th year beginning on April
Wow.
7th, and it's on
Wow.
27 NPR and public radio stations each week.
Can you
Well,
tell people how to get it, how to find it? 'Cause
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I mean, I've got the greatest respect for DJs and musicologists,
Oh,
people
yeah.
people who know the
Absolutely,
genre, know
yeah.
the music, and Fred is as good as anybody. So, Fred, would you tell them how, just for anybody who's interested in hearing some good music, how they can get a hold of your show, whether it be live or archived?
Sure, just FM Odyssey on the wall behind me, just add a .com.
Right.
Great.
Well, there you
FM
go.
Odyssey.
FM Odyssey. I must look you up, Fred.
Very cool. Thank you, Fred. Thanks for
And
coming
Mike,
in.
Mike Edwards, you know Fred from your time in Florida? You got to unmute. Mike, you got to unmute.
All right, buddy. I'm unmuted.
You certainly are.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
I'm fine, man. How you doing?
I'm grand. I used to love those same albums that Fred just asked you about. I would wear them out. I played them so often.
How cool.
What do you mean you had snatches of the other side coming through?
Yes, of course.
Wow, that's really
Yeah.
wild.
Freebo, did you have a question?
Do I have a question? No,
Yeah,
my question.
were you asking me a question?
I was asking. Well, yeah, I was asking you if you know Fred, because I met both you guys in the same area of Florida. Do you guys know each other?
Yes, of course. We're dear friends, and
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
yeah, and I love Fred's work, and like you, I believe totally that he is one of the best. He's it's like listening to the FM radio stations in New York City.
Yeah.
In the in the 70s.
Oh man, yeah.
So that's where Fred comes from. Fred's a New York City boy, and
Yeah, there you go.
and
Very cool.
and he, like I, loved your music, Brian. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. And it's funny because at the time, I mean, I'm firing this stuff out there and thinking to myself, well, I'm lucky enough to have a record company. Never mind about what they think of what this is. But it was the DJs, man. Particularly the first one was a guy called Mike Abramson from Cleveland, who broke that album across the tri-state area, and that started everything off. God bless you all. That's all I can
great.
say.
Hey, so there's two more people who want to say hi to Brian, but I'm wondering if we can, do we want to do any more music this evening? I'm just wondering how we feel.
Well, I'm
about
not
that.
sure what Brian. Can you still is
Did
Karma
your band
and-
leave the building?
Are they gone?
I think he went next door, but I could probably get him back.
No, it's okay.
No, just curious because the questions are also really
Yeah,
good.
they're
and
great.
People want to participate.
No, I was just curious if your sister was
Yeah,
still set up. But so Eileen had a question.
She sure did.
Eileen, I had my eldest sister was Eileen. I loved her dearly. She was wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
your elder sister probably did not spell it the way I do.
Probably not.
I spell it I-L-E-N-E.
L-E-N-E. No, she was E-I-L.
L-E-N.
Eileen with a double E and an N.
She was as in Come On Eileen.
Right.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So my question is kind of pedestrian, but I get wonderful guidance when I ask these questions, and I frequently ask them about books or movies or TV shows. It's stolen from BBC Radio.
Yeah.
And I'll just to simplify it and make it one question for Freebo, Alice, and you, Brian, is if you were stranded on a desert island, what one album would you like to have with you? Because sometimes
so
I
difficult.
get suggestions of things I've never read or seen or heard. Sometimes
I think
Oh
it
my
would have to
gosh.
be Sketches of Spain, Miles Davis,
Yeah.
or at the same time one of the Coltrane albums, like I Love Supreme. For
I have them both.
yeah. Oh, you got. Oh, there you go. Well, you'll be able to take them with you then. You know.
Well, that's this is how I get new wonderful things to listen to.
Yeah.
So
And
Alice,
Freebo?
Well, I think for me, again, it's so hard to say one.
yeah, one. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but if it had, I would say the band.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
if it,
yeah.
if it had to be one of the, it would be the second album, the Brown album, just called The Band.
Right. Right.
But if I really had my choice, I would probably get something like the band's greatest hits, because it would have like Chest Fever and a couple of things from the first one.
Right.
And maybe Life is a Carnival from the third one.
was the first one music from Big Pink?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have them. I know I have that one. I'm sure I have them both. Okay.
Here's a guy who I think is a really great modern composer and arranger in particular. A guy called Michael Walden, Walden. And if you want to listen to something like a couple of his albums I have are just blew me away actually. And it was funny because my dear pal called me up and said, "Hey, Walden is playing at this club with his orchestra." And so we both went over there, and I sat in the front row, and it was just like, oh my God, just to be right. Michael Walden.
Cool.
And it's No Bounds is one of them. No Bounds. And there's another one.
She's taking notes. I like this.
Yeah.
She's really-
Well, I have no short-term memory left.
And there's one album just before that that is just mind-blowing.
Oh wow.
I mean, if I'm going to write for a big band, I'd like to write like that.
And Alice, how about you? What record?
Man, I mean, I just so hard to choose one. I'm thinking of three right now. Can I
Okay.
cheat? Can I
I'm
say
good
three?
with three.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is like probably a lot of people would say this, but Joni Mitchell's Blue is definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just an obvious one for me. I would say I would want to have Late for the Sky by Jackson Browne.
Yep.
And I would also want to have The Natural Blues by Taj Mahal.
Oh, yeah.
Those would be my three.
I think I
Yeah.
took a picture last week to send to Tony Bronigal.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
I put my all my Taj albums on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
I love Taj.
The best.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
amazing.
makes me every
Who doesn't?
time makes me so happy once I hear. They're just such great grooves, and Freebo's been teaching me some bass, and that album is actually perfect to try
Yeah.
to play with
Yeah, it
because
really
it's
is.
not that the parts don't really change all the way through the song. so you can
Didn't he
just-
play euphonium or tuba or something like that?
Well, no. I think the third or the fourth album he had Howard Johnson. Howard
That's
Johnson
right,
had-
yeah.
had a tuba band. And he had
That
four-
one was
four
amazing.
tubas. Yeah, incredible record.
And didn't
Yeah.
you play? You played tuba, and he played bass.
on
on a
Bonnie's
track.
third record on the
Right.
cut, Let Me In, Taj played upright bass, and I was in the next booth like with a baffle in between, and I was playing tuba on the same cut.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Certainly would have baffled me.
Oh,
I can't believe that you can play the bass and the tuba.
Not at the same time.
No, that was it. You know, it was difficult without scaffolding. You know.
But Freebo, it's so
Very
cool
difficult.
what you would do back in the day with Bonnie's band, where you would walk up to the tuba. He had it on a stand so he could go back and forth.
Oh, I did that with the Blues Busters.
Yeah,
I
you
had
did,
the
yeah.
tuba there, and I had the bass, and I would walk up to the tuba and play the bass, and then come back
And the tuba would run away.
with good reason. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Thanks for that.
That was
question.
amazing.
I mean,
I
was a
wanted
great
to. I just
question.
wanted to bring in Alan Messer just for a second because Alan's got quite a background in music. How you doing?
yes.
Hello. Do I have
Hey,
to unmute
Alan.
myself?
Yeah, well, you just did.
We
Yeah.
can hear
can-
you.
Oh, I am. Okay, I'm unmuted. Well, I'm sorry. Brian, I photographed you painting your flat up Leicester Square.
Hmm.
You remember that place?
I certainly do, man. I was there for quite a few years, you know, and it was funny with being in Leicester Square. A lot of actors and actresses used to slip by, you know, particularly when there was Wednesday afternoon. I think there was a show, you know, and so they come by, have a cup of tea, and then funny as hell, man. It's Albert Finney was going out with a lady called Diana Quick at the time, and my eldest daughter Ali was in, and she'd been watching the TV, and she was only maybe about 4 or 5 years old, and there was a program on there called the $64 Million Man. And when Albert came by the first time and was introduced, Ali took one look at him and said, "It's him." To the other guys, "It's him. It's a $64 million man." You know, and Albert starts to run around the room in in slow motion, faking slow motion. Said, "You see, I told you it's him." Amazing, man. And then Albert asked, he said, "Well, have you been to school today?" Ali says, "Yeah, sure, yeah." And what did you do? He said, "Well, we didn't do much because we had the story of the great white whale." And so Albert says, "Oh, do you remember his name?" And she says, "Well, yeah, I think his name was maybe Dick." So this absolutely blew Albert away, you know. And then he asked Ali what was happening. It was getting near Christmas, and she said, "Well, I'm in the Christmas play." And he said, "Oh, really? What is it?" He said, "Well, it's I'm the ghost of Christmas past." And so Albert says, "Oh, that's very good. You know, have you got lines and everything?" "I tell you what, I'm coming round tomorrow, and I'm going to go through your lines with you." And this is like, you've got to speak from here, and you've got to, So my wife made up a costume, a white costume out of sheets and stuff, and I think it was Karma found a couple of old cowbells and chains, and so Alex staggers off to school, ready to appear, and all these kids are probably about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old, something like that, and watching this is suddenly the ghost of Christmas past comes out, on cue, and takes strides to the front of the class and delivers this ridiculous thing and scares the daylights out of the kids, and they all start crying and running away, saying, "Mama, I want Mama." So when I told Albert about that, he laughed his head off, man. He said, "Oh, that's wonderful." Wow. So anyway, there we are.
Wow.
So, Alan, I'm kind of curious. Besides the infamous Brian Auger, who else have you photographed? It seems to me, I go back. I seem to remember a conversation, something about because I was on the Old Grey Whistle test with
Bonnie,
and
I photographed that. Yes.
so did you connect did you connect us somehow? I'm trying to remember what that was. And the question is also, who else have you taken some really cool pictures of?
I've taken pictures. I've taken for 53 years. I've taken a lot of pictures. But in you were talking about Jimmy before, Brian, and I never photographed Jimmy directly, but he came into Desmond Hoffman's studio for a Record Mirror Christmas cover in 1967. It's my second week of work, actually. Assistant on a Jimi Hendrix session in 67. I probably photographed you in that flat painting. Not a great picture, but I got a great picture. A paintbrush in front of your face. Like,
you were just learning.
Oh, girl.
That was probably about 68. I don't know. Probably.
Yes, right, yeah.
Freebo, yes, I met Freebo, or I was around the Bonnie Raitt thing when they played the whistle test. Actually, I got a picture I put up before Julie Driscoll. On the Simon D show, and I suppose you were playing at that time. She was doing Wheels on Fire, I presume.
Yeah, no, we probably were working together at that point.
Right, was that Trinity at that point?
Yeah.
That was Trinity, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Trinity, yeah. Yes.
And I was laughing when you were telling me the John Lord roadie story earlier.
Yeah.
I knew John, and I worked with John.
John was a great guy, man.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, I went to his house in Sonning and photographed the John Lord band that became Haystack Lord, actually. And before that, I'd worked with Purple. So I was
right. Well, John used to call me Chappie. Look here, Chappie. What? Yes.
Yeah. Well, at least he called me anyway.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. No, he was. There's a wonderful player and writer, and also a very, very nice guy, great guy.
Very nice.
And just before when he was really ill, he had a blues band with Pete York and different English guys, and apparently he called Pete and said, "Look, they got this run of gigs." He said, "I can't do this. Call Brian and ask him if he'll do it." And so I got a call, and I think I dropped a couple of things, and did that the rest of the tour. Actually, it was, there we are. We just
Pete York, I love Pete York. Actually, we connected a couple of years ago. He used to do a jam session at Bumpers in London, off Leicester Square, and
what? Where?
A club called Bumpers.
Yeah. Bumpers. Yeah, because I lived just on the bottom of Leicester Square. Yeah.
Right. And then he did a jam session there, and there was a load. I actually played drums one night.
Oh, it's all coming out now.
It's all coming.
Yeah, it's all coming
out. But the main thrust of that night was Keith Moon was on congas.
Oh, Mooney! Oh dear.
Yeah, and there was a drummer from Ossie Bisa on drums.
All right.
Yeah, it was great. And Pete, of course, was that Harden in New York thing he did.
Yes. Yeah.
It was brilliant with Eddie Harden.
Yeah.
I love it. One of the Pike was one of the great
Right.
films.
Hey guys, we're very close to being out of time. Is that right,
Yeah.
Alice? I mean, I wish we could go on forever. So thank you, Alan.
Alan, nice to see you, man.
And you were here in Asheville in 04, and we met. I took some pictures of you on stage.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. I'd love to see some of them. That's
yeah, me too.
I looked a little better back then.
I looked a lot better. I mean, I now have scattered my feet.
Hey, Brian, just the last thing is our friend Lori Reimer suggested that if maybe you have a short story about your crazy shirts. I remember you always liked these loud Hawaiian type shirts.
Well, I did have a couple that but then there was a great gentleman who would always appear wherever the hell I was playing in the States. And I think he lived up on the Russian River or something like that. But he would turn up. This he gave me for my birthday. You know, and after that, whenever he appeared, you know, the Baked Potato or wherever, he would always give me a shirt. So I said, look, we can't go on like this, man. I mean, I'm falling into this kind of thing of wearing all these shirts, and I don't want to accept it from you if I don't wear it, you know. But it never stopped him. So I mean, there we are, and
so now you've just got a collection of wild shirts. And
I certainly do, yeah.
How many?
Oh, I've probably got maybe about 15.
Well, that's a good one you're wearing now. I like it.
This was the first one he gave me for my birthday.
Oh,
you know?
Cool. Now you can go on tour with all those shirts. You don't have to do your laundry for a couple of weeks.
Well, there we are. There we are. You know, but these, I mean, they're made of a material. God knows what it is, but you know, you could kind of like wash it out, hang it up, and it would be dry in about 2 hours.
Perfect.
So
nice. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect to take on tour.
It's the old wash and dry. Hey, Alice, I wanted to ask you. I noticed there was some other people still in the chat. Did anybody in the chat have a question or something they wanted to say? Cause
yeah.
I didn't realize that there were other people besides
Let's do it.
we can see on here.
Freebo, there's still 75 other people watching.
75.
Not everybody Zoom.
Because
everybody's
loving
basically
your stories.
saying that they're loving your stories, Brian. And,
Thank you. And
really,
to everybody,
enjoying.
yeah, to everybody who's out there, God bless you, and thank you for your interest in my music and stories and whatever. You know, I mean.
Okay, here's two questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, what's your favorite key to play in?
Favorite key. At this point, it really doesn't make any difference. But
I wouldn't think so.
But I used to favor F and G. You know,
Okay.
but this is what happened when I was playing jazz, and you know, I used to accompany singers in this club. They had a different singer every week who tried to sing like Frank Sinatra. You know, these guys would come up and they would say, "Happy, right? How high is the moon? D flat." I go, what? So it was an apprenticeship, man, of like playing anything in any key and struggling with it, and soon got hip to that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey, and Brian, I want you to know that one of our friends who's watching right now, Jason, said that he just bought your vinyl and your 3-pack CD, so he's really excited to hear that.
Oh, cool. Wow,
And then
put it on.
else, say it again?
Put it on, play it loud.
Yeah.
What?
And then there was one more question that was,
Yeah.
what was your...
Excuse me, Alice. I was going to say, why don't you just put Jason on just to say hi to Brian, since he's on the video here.
Is he too shy, Jason?
Right.
No,
There you go.
there he is.
You're on, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Oh my. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Alice,
What?
love you as always. Brian, awesome. I was really vibing with you.
All right. Yes.
Wonderful.
Brian Organ. And there was I used to work with, I did some things with Klaus Doldinger. Can you imagine what I made of that? You know, and he used to call me, a German musician, very, very good musician. He used to say, "Herr Orgler, how are you?" Orgler.
Olga.
Orgler. An Orgler is an organ player. Herr Orgler.
Oh.
In German.
Hey, Alice, who else? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Who else?
Yeah.
was there?
Oh, thank
So
you,
there you go.
Jason.
How you doing, bro?
Jason.
I'm blushing.
He's...
I see. Well, yeah, be careful, man. Have you got a fire extinguisher there somewhere?
Great.
Excellent.
Yes,
Hey,
I know.
one more question was, what's your most memorable gig, Brian?
Most memorable gig.
I'm sure you
I
can
can't
think
remember.
of a few.
Yeah, yes, I can. I can actually. No, it was the first time that I played in New York at the Fillmore East, and we finished our set, and they brought us on for 2 encores, and I remember that picture of standing on stage, looking at the audience and going, "Pinch me, I must be dreaming."
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good note to end on, I think, for this.
Well, here's another one.
Oh, here we go.
And on that note.
Oh. Brian, I can't keep up with you. He's too clever. I can't keep up.
Oh.
Stay on my feet.
He's quick.
May I say it's been a great pleasure.
It's been so fun. And,
great pleasure to know you and to hear you sing. And, Freebo, thank you. Great to see you, man.
Thanks for coming in.
I'm so glad we got this together, and please thank Karma.
Yes, thank
you for helping us out, doing all the technical stuff. But just thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being. I mean, you're such a sweet guy. You're such a legend, and you're so available. And between your music and your humor and you're brilliant, and it's my honor to know you and introduce you to Alice and to all these wonderful people.
Lovely to know you, Alice.
Yes, it's lovely to know you too, and I'm just so grateful that you took all this time to be with us and to answer questions.
Right.
I know everybody appreciated it, and I'm so grateful to those of you who have sent in donations for tonight. Thank you
for your donations, really.
Thanks. And it's just been so fun spending this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to do it again at some point.
Yeah, Brian, you're actually going to make a little bit of money from this show. I
Just
mean,
a little
I don't know
bit.
how much. It depends on how generous our patrons are, but you're actually going to get paid a little bit for it. Can you believe that?
Money.
I can hardly believe my ear trumpets.
I know. All right, you guys. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll all just leave bit by bit here. I don't want to just abruptly shut it down. I'm just gonna let everybody bit by bit. We'll just fade away.
And as we do it, I just want to say goodbye to all of you, and to Fred, great to see you, and Alan Messer, and Eileen, and who else is up there, and Laurie.
Laurie,
thank you, Laurie. Love you. Mwah.
Peter, it's great to see you, Peter. Peter Krantz.
Yeah, Peter.
And Jeff Sherman's been such a great supporter ever since.
And David Schulman, thank you. Some of my patrons are here.
I'd like to thank Mary Queen of Scots for being here.
Mary Queen of Scots, she didn't last very long, but she was here for
Edward the Seventh, and
which one was he? Was he the one that abdicated?
He certainly was, and they cleaned it up afterwards.
Wait, it wasn't.
Serves him right.
Was he the seventh? We've been watching The Crown.
He was, but no, he was actually. He was Edward the Seventh,
AKA David.
And you were alive when that happened, right?
Wow.
No, I was.
He's not that old.
Not before that.
When did he abdicate? I mean, it was right around the beginning, somewhere in World War II, right?
Yes, it was. It was probably in the early 30s or something. Where he went crazy. And I never knew him. I knew, Julius Caesar when he arrived on the beach. He got out of the trireme and he said to me, "Wale," and I said, "Well, sorry, my Latin master wasn't very good." And he said, "I see." He said, "Veni, vidi, and where the hell is Vicky?"
Oh my God! This is this is the After Hours show. I like it.
Needless to say, back in the Bluesbusters day, I was laughing from.
Well, we all were, because everyone was crazy,
Oh,
Catfish was dear. Yes, there we are.
Well, thank you, everybody. Hey,
great to see you, man.
You too. We're here,
Alice.
We're here.
Nice to see
We're
you.
here every
Brian.
Wednesday.
Yeah, come back next Wednesday, you guys. 5 p.m. Inside Live is here every Wednesday, so we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and everybody who came to listen tonight and everything, I send you my love, and we're going through very strange times right now, but don't worry about it. It's going to get straightened out, and I must say that in the most affluent country that there has ever been in the history of the world, to have people lining up for food and to feed their children is absolutely something that is disgusting from those who haven't done anything. That's why, or have no empathy with other people. If you have kids and they're hungry, my God, I mean, that must tear your heart out. And if you don't understand that, then get out of power as soon as you can, because we can do without you.
Well, we voted some of them out of power.
There it is,
Well,
Anyway.
Well said, Brian.
That was really funny. It brings me to I think I played in New Zealand actually, and with myself and Dr. John, who's a wonderful guy.
Sure was.
And we played on a Maori tribal land. We had to get permission, but they offered it to us. They said, "Would you like to have a welcoming ceremony?" So I said, "Absolutely," And so we went there. We sat down, on a bench. I was behind Dr. John, and there was this little ceremony beforehand, and then one of the guys, all dressed up with with the spear and the whole thing, came out and let forth this diatribe, and there was a couple of Maori people behind to interpret, and I asked them what the guy said, and he said you're not welcome here, because the terrible things that were done, and and he said this is how, and I thought, wow. Anyway, he left, and another guy came forward and expounded, and I said, well, what's he saying? And he said, you are absolutely welcome here as our guests, and we're very glad to have you. And and he sang this song. I don't know what it was, but and then he stepped back, and one of the people came up to me and said, "Right, it's your turn to sing." I said, "What?" In front of all these black people. I said, "My God, I just don't, I don't know what I would sing, And Dr. John turned around and said, "Go on, Brian, sing, man." And I had a song that I put, just playing piano, on the Street Noise album called "Looking in the Eye of the World." I'd never played it live, ever. And for some reason it came into my head, and I sang this. And the lyrics were, I'm waiting for the day, I'm searching for a way to make the sun appear. And when that day is here, I'll try to dissipate the fear that I see when I'm looking in the eye of the world. And I suddenly thought, so this is why I wrote that song. And there's another verse, still the same old story. Defend your territory from the others, from your brothers, all of whom I see, looking back at me when I'm looking in the eye of the world. And then I sat down, and and John turned around and went, "Yeah, man." And that was it. And then we had to line up, and the elders were all the women. And when there was a line of maybe, I don't know, about 20 women, we had to line up, and we had to take their hand and rub noses with them. And I can tell you something, man, when you rub noses with somebody, you know whether you're welcome or not.
Love it.
Amazing.
Brian, thank you for all your stories and just your humor and your energy and your spirit and your music. We love you. And we'll
Thank
see
you.
Down the road.
Yeah,
We will
Storm,
see
good
you
to
down
see
the
you
road.
again. Thanks for
Yep.
coming.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you.
Bye, Brian.
Thanks, everybody.
Beautiful.
Thanks for
Yeah,
Bye,
take
everybody.
care, man.
Thank you all for
Take
joining
care,
us.
Alice.
Take care,
Nice-
Brian.
See you next
Nice to see
Wednesday.
you.
Nice to see you too. Bye.
Bye.
Rain falling across the water, Mist is rising on the mountainside. Leaves are blooming in the ash tree. Robin's looking for something sweet.